Hello, 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 welcome. Uh, you can go to my Patreon. It's patreon.com/it was never you if you'd like to support the channel. I talk about narcissism and the effects of it and uh, recovering from it. There's welcome. Today I wanted to talk about gaslighting. So the format of this is I'll talk for a little while in the beginning, and then we can do some questions, and hopefully I have some answers for you. So what is gaslighting? You guys, I hope you guys can hear me. What is gaslighting? Gaslighting is when somebody tries to alter your reality of events to throw you off kilter. So things that they can say are, you don't remember it correctly. That never happened the way that you're saying it did. I never said that. Um, they want you to be confused. And what ends up happening is your sense of identity and your sense of your memories gets thrown off. So you may tend to apologize and say sorry more often than other people do because you feel like everything you say, hello Zimbabwe, thank you for being here and thank you for saying that. Um, you feel as if you just don't remember things right. You feel like you have to apologize for everything that you say. You don't want to disagree with people because you think that they will think that you're being combative. It leads to this sense of not even knowing if your life or the things that you remember are correct. This is a very tormenting method of abusing people, and the the best way to get to alter people's memories is to keep telling them that what they remember is wrong. So if that is repetitive, if you are told over and over again that something that you remember is incorrect, you will begin to believe that what you remember is incorrect. So they may move your keys and say, and you're searching, let's just do a basic example of it. They may move your keys and you go looking for them and you say, I swear that I put them here. I swear that my keys are always in the same spot. This leads you to feel as, and this is what it's meant to do. Remember, narcissism is about power and control. So they want you to believe that you are going crazy so that you are under their power and under their control. It can happen with a boss. It can happen at school. It can happen at work. It can happen in relationships. But remember, this is always part of a part of a bigger picture. So somebody may ask, do people do this and not know that they're doing this? I'm sure. But what we're talking about here is with narcissism, with a set of behaviors that go together to cause somebody to doubt their reality, to doubt their identity, who they are as a person, and to just get them to be a shell of themselves. That is the outcome of this type of abuse. And over the course of months, over the course of years, this does lead you to become weakened in spirit, weakened in mind. And if imagine walking around second guessing every thought that you have, every emotion. So this is what gaslighting is meant to do. some ways that you can combat this is to keep a journal of situations that say you're dealing with a toxic person. After you're done with the conversation with them, write down what happened, write down what they said, write down what you said, and then you can refer to that journal of sorts, and you can keep it so that you can keep yourself grounded in truth. Because like I said before, if it is repeated over and over again, the same lie to you, you will begin. I read there was a study that they did on a boy. I don't know if they would do it now because it seems a bit unethical, but they told the boy something happened to him. I think it was an accident. They told the boy that he had gotten into an accident. And in the beginning, he started saying, he was telling them, no, that's not true. That did not happen. But they kept telling him that over and over again. And then by the end of the study, they told the boy that the lie didn't happen, but because they had told it to him so many times, he was arguing with the people doing the study, and he was telling them, no, it did happen. So that is how fragile our psyche is. And imagine now we're inundated with so much information, with oh hey Haley, with so many is it likely for narcissists to delete and make other accounts on social media? Is it likely to delete and make? Yes, they one thing they do like to do is they can create, again, this is not only attributed to toxic people or narcissists, but they can make other accounts and be trolling your social media or looking at everything you do, even if you've left a relationship with them. Last week we talked about the cycles of a relationship with a narcissist. That those cycles tend to repeat themselves until either the narcissist completely loses interest in the target, or you just completely get sick of it. So those cycles can repeat themselves. So what they do in the meantime is, after they've discarded you, they will keep tabs on you to make sure that they see what you're doing on social media. But again, these are things that also anybody can do. So I don't ever want you guys to leave these sessions thinking that something I'm talking about, how do I explain this? Something that something like I said before, it exists with an array of behaviors. It's not simply one thing. So you can have grown up in a toxic household, and because you witness gaslighting, because you witness manipulation, have the ability to do this, and you may have done this in the past. But if you have the ability to self-reflect and to alter those behaviors and to stop doing them, that is evidence that you are not a narcissist, because narcissists they don't look at themselves with the ability to say, man, what I've been doing is wrong, and change that behavior. But there also, I will say that you can, of course, backslide and do it again out of a force of habit. But if you have the ability to self-reflect, I don't want you to leave these things and these videos and go thinking that this is you, if that makes sense. So I said, for the first 10 minutes, that I hope that synopsis of, yes, socialized into certain behaviors, you learn it. So the first 10 minutes, I will talk about the subject, and then I want to open it up to questions that you guys have. But I do that in the beginning so that people that are watching the video who don't want to stick around for the Q&A can just watch the first 10 minutes, and then they can mosey mosey along to another video or continue with their day. So do you guys have any questions about it? Do narcissists change schools, work partners a lot, and delete and remake their accounts on social, change their names? They can. Do narcissists change schools, work partners a lot? They can do that and remake their accounts on social media. Remember, a narcissist is a person that wears a mask. So they're very good at hiding their true nature, and so somebody that's toxic in your life may function in a different level when they're in relationships with other people. So the people they work with may think they are a saint, or the people at their church may think that they're so great, but you, in your personal relationship with them, know something, you see a different person. That's also how they operate. Are they ashamed of themselves? I think deep within these people is a deep sense of self-hatred, because to hide who you really are for such a long period of time, and to always be operating outside of your to be operating outside of your identity with like 90% of the people in your life, it's taxing on a person. You've got to remember your lies. You've got to remember what you've said to people. You're denying so with gaslighting, when you tell them this is what you said and they say no, that's not what I said, it's got to be tiring to be just lying to people. Do they know? I think that they know. I think they know that they're gaslighting people, and that what some of them may operate in a sense of they can't accept the truth, so it would shatter them. Could narcissists tell me honestly that they hate themselves and no. The more vulnerable of a narcissist may utilize that saying that they hate themselves in order to manipulate people. So the more vulnerable or the covert narcissist may show, I hate myself, but it's always just to either get attention or to manipulate you into restarting the cycle of relationships. So I realized everything I did wrong and I'm so sorry, but what will happen is with a person that isn't, they'll make steps forward and hopefully they don't revert to that behavior again. But with a narcissist, there's like a grace period, and then they'll start it over again, the same behavior. And you're sitting there saying, but do you see where I'm saying it's the whole package? It's not just certain behaviors with these people. So you can attribute these traits to anybody in your life, but you have to look at the whole picture. So narcissism is a word as of late that has been thrown around very flippantly. People will use the word and they'll attribute it to somebody that's loud. They'll attribute it to somebody that they don't like, and it's not a word to be used lightly. But on the other hand, it's about you and how it affects you as a person. So I'll say this on every video, that I can be in a relationship with somebody and it can be very harmful to me as a person and to my mental stability and my emotional health. However, you any one of you that's on here can be in a relationship with that same person and you get along fine with them and you have no issues with them. So it's less about the label and it's more about how it affects you as a person. Because you can ask me questions, so and so did this, are they a narcissist? I can't answer that question because it's about a broader, it's about it's about the bigger picture. And it almost, not that it doesn't matter the label, but you're the one that matters to get you help and healing and recovering from the gaslighting, from the projection, from the lies, from feeling as if you're going crazy. Because my goal is to make you understand that you are not going crazy, that you have been, this is abuse. And a lot of people like to focus on the narcissist, which is okay for information gathering and for you to understand what you're dealing with, but then you need to go to the road to recovery to help to heal yourself, to help to heal your boundaries, to actually form boundaries which were never allowed, to get you to the place where you can understand what your identity actually is and who you actually are, as opposed to what you have been told about yourself. I hope that makes sense. And thank you guys for being here. Let's see. So you keep a journal. You keep a journal. Don't go along with what they say. So don't, oh, you must be right about me remembering. Don't admit it to them that, oh, you might be right about that, because it'll wire you. Or if you're just trying to get away from them, say that, but don't mean it, because you remember things correctly. There's nothing. And also, people that have been, people that have gone through toxic parenting or dysfunctional families, you also may have gaps in your memory where there are, if someone has an emotionally distant father who is addicted to drugs and cold mother who is very submissive, is it likely for a child to be a narcissist when the kid was always lonely at home? If someone has an emotionally distant father who is addicted and a cold mother, well, then that child was never, can you guys remind me what I was talking about before? The child was never nurtured. Is it likely for a child to be a narcissist? I don't know that that would make a child more likely to be a narcissist. If you had an emotionally distant father and a cold mother, so the mother is the one that nurtures. Yes, of course. The mother is the one that nurtures, and the father is the one that, this is my opinion, the father is the one that offers protection, so the child will grow up not feeling protected and not being nurtured. Your parents are your caregivers, so your parents are the ones that are raising you up to put you out into the world. So I would ask, what do you think a child, let's flip it. What do you think a child that had an emotionally distant father and a cold mother would think about themselves as they become an adult? Like, how do you think that would affect them as they got older? What would their beliefs be about themselves? One thing that comes to mind is that they would think that they're not worthy, or that they're just not good enough. And that's common for children that are raised in a toxic environment, to believe that they are not good enough, to self-hatred, yes. You're just right. You don't like yourself because if my parents didn't love me and give me what I needed, why would anybody else love me? This will affect your belief if you're a believer. You can model God after your parents and think that he doesn't love you either, or he doesn't want good things for you in your life, only bad, because rejection. It's an identity crisis. It leads to an identity crisis. It's which you could overcompensate for that self-hatred, and yes, develop narcissistic traits. I think certain people go that way, where I don't give a crap. I'm just gonna roll over people to get what I want, and they didn't love me, so I'm gonna force people and I'm gonna manipulate people. Yes. Or it could go the complete opposite, where you develop this excessive amount of empathy, and I don't know if this is something physiological in the brain, or if it's I also do know, can a group of people even know? Oh yes, that is an excellent question. The world can be gaslit. The world can be under the spell of gaslighting. Yes, that is an excellent question. Yeah. I love this. I love the going back and forth in the questions. I think one of the common, speaking to that question, a whole population be gaslit. It's very easy to dehumanize. It's very easy for a leader or for somebody to get people to dehumanize others. Once you take away the humanity factor, and once you get people to not see other people as people, they can become, once you dehumanize the population, we as humans are capable of atrocities, and there's a subject of mob mentality. So when people get into a mob, what ends up happening is they lose their individuality. So you'll see people in a mob who would not be violent, but once you get, it kind of creates this hive mind. So once they get in this group of people, if there's one person on the floor and somebody starts kicking one person, the other people in the group who are not violent, if they're on their own, will exhibit the same type of behavior. They'll start doing the same thing. This is why I say the psyche is very fragile. We as humans are easily manipulated. Look at what the media does. Now, I'm not going to talk about politics on this channel, but what I will say is we are bombarded on a daily basis with negativity, with negative information. You don't know anymore what is, just think about this, pan out. You don't know anymore what is true. There are people being pit against one another, brother against sister, mother against daughter, daughter against mother. It's this is what is happening. Can the broken kids heal themselves by their own? I do recommend that if this is something that you have gone through through childhood and now you are an adult, I do recommend that if you are in America, I don't know about any other countries, I'm sorry, and maybe that's something that I could look into, but you can go to the APA, the American, yes, they will pick a scapegoat. And can you put that up in a minute? Once I finish this, I don't want to lose my train of thought. I want to talk about that. So go to the APA's website, go to search for a provider, and pick somebody that is uh, specialized in trauma and PTSD, and there are also some great books. If you want to reach out to me, it was never you at protonmail.com. You can message me and I can give you some books that you can read or some websites that you can go to start your journey. But yes, you can recover. The mob will pick a scapegoat. What's the scapegoat? So the, biblically, the scapegoat was the animal that they slaughtered to cleanse themselves of their sins. So a narcissist or a narcissistic agenda, you can even call it an agenda. It can be a global agenda, it can be a localized agenda, or it can be an agenda in a family. Will pick the target moves. So they like to move the goalposts. So if the target is always moving, like imagine a soccer game and you're trying to kick the ball into the goal, and then they move the goal and then you kick the ball and it goes outside of the goalpost. That's what narcissists do. They always move the goalpost, so the target is always changing. The scapegoat in a family, I'll speak to a family unit. 1 minute one child is the scapegoat and the next minute the other child is the scapegoat, and it just keeps it's I know I use this comment a lot. It's like the boxer when they first get punched in their face, they're stung, they feel their face stings, and they lose their balance. That's what it's meant to do, because this is always about power and control. I missed a comment. How do you is it likely for the narcissist to tell you one day they love you and a few days they will be so mean? Yes, that is common. It's to throw you off kilter. Imagine if I tell you one day I love you and the next day I am giving you the silent treatment, or not speaking to you, or being passive aggressive and throwing subtle comments out there to put you down. Can you, I don't remember what I said common. Textbook definition of narcissism. You can go through the checklist then that they have for narcissistic personality disorder, and you can mark off you can say, okay, this person has this, or you can say this person has one of the traits, and that person, this is why I say it's about you guys and not about them. That person can display simply one of the traits. So say they have less empathy, little to no empathy. They can be as toxic to you as the person with exhibiting all of the traits. It just depends on your makeup and how you are as a person. But that person with little to no empathy, I can deal with and it not bother me, or vice versa. I don't think there's anything textbook about these people, and everybody's experience is the same yet different, because it affects everybody in a different way, and some people can come out of it less harmed than others. So you'll have 2 siblings or 3 siblings in the same house, and they have a completely different perception of how they were raised and of their parents. And this is all normal, because every one of us is different. I'm coming up on half an hour, and that's what I like to keep them. I'm such a sucker for attention and love. I'm impulsive and fast going, very big mouth sometimes. What if I'm narcissistic too? I think you were on here last week, and if you have, that's a good way to end this. If you have the ability to look at your behaviors and to say that this is something that I don't like about myself and that I need to change and make an impactful change, and to stop, to get to the root of why you do those things. Are they learned behaviors? What is the cause of those? Then I would err on the side of saying that you're not. If you can actually self-reflect and make changes, work with somebody to make changes in your life with this behavior, then I would say that you aren't, because it doesn't seem like those are things that, like seeking revenge, it doesn't seem like something that sits well with you. So if you have the ability to look at yourself and say, this is something I want to change, then I would say that you aren't, because I don't think there are narcissists out there that are saying, truly, this is something that I want to change about myself, and do the work to actually do it. Now I'm at 31 minutes. I want to thank you guys for coming in here. I really appreciate it. I like the back and forth. It's just, thank you all for being here and listening and interacting. And I will see you guys next Saturday. And I'll put a blurb up in the community saying what time I'll be on. So thank you guys, and have a good one.